roughly around 100 amateur bouts, 3-time national. Started boxing when I was 10. Never really considered boxing much of anything until my stepfather introduced it to me. And one day we were at this Indian resort. They had a fill-in. They're like, "Hey, you want to fight?" I got my gloves, got wraps, got shoes, got everything, mouthpiece. And I had my first fight at 10 years old. And ever since, just keep on going. 14 years into it.
What happened during your first fight? How did you feel?
My first fight wasn't pretty. I was a swimmer. Just put my head down, just started punching. But I lost by decision. I won the last round, but the boxing bug bit me ever since. Just
Even though you lost, what made you want to keep fighting?
just pretty much it was a family type of deal, and our families just did it, kept on going, and I knew this is what I wanted to do. You know, it's different than a lot of sports, different than hockey, soccer, you know, baseball, football. It's a lot more contact, you know. And for me, it wasn't so much about the contact, it was more of the sweet science of the sport, trying to figure out a way to get in there and hit people by not getting hit, you know. So there's just.
So what kind of fighter would you explain to the fans? Are you a boxer or are you a banger?
I'd say I'm more of a boxing type. Try to figure me out, you know, use my footwork, use the sweet science, boxing, moving, punching. I'm not too much of a brawler, but if I got to get in the trenches, I will bang. You know.
And tell us, after your amateur career, what made you want to turn pro and what did you turn pro?
Well, ever since I was a kid, you know, it was always boxing and everything, and seeing world champions on the television, you know, in that light, it's just, you know, something I wanted to do. And by the time I turned 20, I realized that this is what I wanted to do. So I moved to Las Vegas, you know, the boxing capital of the world, and turned pro.
And where do you tell us about where you trained in Las Vegas? Tell us about where you trained and who was your trainer?
While I was still in New York, I took a trip out here and met a guy named by the name of John Roberts, and his coaching style was just something I'd never seen before. You know, he uses his feet, and he's really dedicated to what he loves. And just when I met him, I'd say our personalities just collided and made one hell of a coaching style. And I've been at Johnny Tacos ever since.
What did you do from the amateurs, the way you trained? What did you do? Now you're going to fight your first pro fight. What did you do different as far as training? And now you're going to add the glove is smaller. There's no headgear.
True.
What did you do different to train for your first pro fight?
As I turned pro, I realized that everything's not so fast-paced. You know, it's not do 2-minute rounds. You know, you gotta add another minute, make it 3-minute rounds, add another round, make a 4-rounder. As that builds, you increase. But to turn pro, you have to calm your style down a little bit more. Pick your shots. You don't want to just go in there and just go for the wire. You know, just swing away. You want to actually get in there and pick your shots, take them out, take the man out as fast as possible.
When you fought your first pro fight, what did you think? During the fight, tell us what you were thinking.
Well, my first pro fight was in Brooklyn, New York, and it was actually in front of some of the people that I knew from New York, which is kind of cool because it was kind of, you know, it was very new to me at the same time. And first round, ding, you know, all your nerves are there because it's my first pro fight, but as soon as the first punch was thrown, it was right back to the same thing I've always known, you know. The only thing that was different was in my first pro fight, I got headbutted and was cut over my eye. And that was different because you never really get headbutted too much in amateurs, but when you do, it's more of a headgear that protects you. And feeling warm blood trickle down the side of your face was a little bit different, but to overcome that, and I won my first pro fight. It was a unanimous decision.
After you win, how did you feel? Even though the fight was different style, as you said,
Yeah.
from the amateurs because it's slower paced.
Yeah.
But how did you feel as far as winning? Was winning your first fight as good as winning your amateur?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's just like I was so nervous. You know, they taped the gloves, the smaller gloves. I'm like, this is it. You know, my first pro fight, and winning it for me was just. It was unbelievable. I just felt the feeling that you get from getting your hand raised in the ring is just, it's unbelievable. You know?
So now, you're 5-1. People want to know where your loss came from. You should be an undefeated fighter.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about what happened in your fight there, why you lose, and tell us a little from the beginning of the fight what happened.
I'm 5-1. I lost my last fight. I fought a guy named Jesse Vargas, and I knew a little bit about him. You know, he good amateur. He had a good amateur background, and coming up to the fight, I had a lot of sparring. Felt real good. Felt confident. Got in the ring. First 30 seconds of the ring, he decides to sprint across the ring. Hit me with a flash knockdown. I went down. I was up before he hit the 8 count. And I got pissed, you know. I got up, 30 seconds into the fight, walked across the ring. I threw a combination wrong, jab cross. When I threw a hook, I caught the top of his head, and I broke my thumb right in the joint. And immediately after I threw the punch, I knew I broke it. After that, I knew I wasn't going to be able to throw my jab the same, my hook the same, my lead uppercut the same. And so I had to work out a little strategy plan. But after you break something like that, your strategy goes right out the window, and I lost the fight on points.
So you lost by decision.
Yeah.
So tell the fans, like, why, you know, what happens? You broke your hand. You know you broke your hand.
Yep.
Why didn't you tell your corner that your hand's broken and you want to stop the fight? What happened?
Yeah, in between the first and second round, I told my trainer, you know, I was like, it's broken, you know. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm pretty sure. And I didn't want the commissioners too much to hear or anything because a fight can be stopped like that. And I didn't want that, so.
What would happen if they did stop the fight?
If they stopped the fight, I would have had a knockout on my record. And that's one way for me to go out. I can't go out like that. Oh yeah, it was, I mean, just each punch I threw, I didn't want to show pain in my face just to see something's wrong with them or anything like that. So I sucked it up and I just grinned and bear it, you know.
So now you're over that. How long ago was that?
That was 8 months ago, September 17th.
Okay, now you're in the gym again, you're training.
April 17th.
Yeah, you've been watching for the last couple hours. You're coming off being sick for 5 days.
Yeah.
So you had an easy workout today. You're trying to get back into it.
Pretty much.
You're fighting in January.
Yes.
Top here in Vegas. What are you going to do? You're coming off this loss that you knew you shouldn't have lost and you broke your hands. What are you going to do different? Train and take care of your hands for this fight?
Well, this next fight in my career is the most crucial. Coming off a loss, I have to show the world that I'm not here just as a joke. I'm not here to play around. You know, I got to come out in this next fight, show my talent, showcase me, and get my name back up there. Say that I'm not just to be taken lightly anymore. My name is Anthony Lenk. I'm the next junior welterweight champion of the world. Find me on Behind the Ring.